Well, I guess to kick it off, who are you? What's the album that's coming out, and
What's the deal?
what's the deal?
Well, I'm Chris Deering. I'm the guy behind the sound that ends creation. Also got a little podcast called the cast that ends creation. On November 5th, I'll be releasing my 6th album, Boomers, Zoomers, Desperate Coomers. And yeah.
Yeah, excited for it. The singles have been super cool.
Yeah.
Oh, thanks, man. I appreciate that.
Yeah, you've put out an album, like at least one album every year since the beginning of the sound that ends creation. Like, how do you do that? I feel like this is almost a tandem question. This is something I've been curious about whenever I listen to your music and I read the lyrics. So like part one of the question is, how do you manage your time? And part two, what is it that you do? So you do have a day job.
Yeah. Now it's it's based around apps. So I do Instacart. I do the grocery thing, delivery and stuff. Before it was like, a straight up 9 to 5 piece of shit job. And I realized back in like October that I didn't want to do that. And so try to give music and like the podcast and stuff, just give this stuff like a real shot. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Because dude, I can't see myself working like a shitty retail job, like, 10 years from now or whatever. You know what I mean? I figured now is like the time to give it a shot if I'm going to give it one,
Yeah, for sure.
As far as being an album every year, whenever I first started this, I didn't think I was going to do that. The first album I did, I thought that was going to be it. It wasn't going to be anymore. And then I found the mathcore community and I was like, oh, there's people actually listening to this shit. Let's do another album, but that's probably going to be it. And then I did another one after that too. And then I thought, fuck it, let's just make some more shit. And, just wait till inspiration hits, but it happens to hit once a year, apparently.
That is really cool. Yeah. Not only with like Mathcore Index, but also with MySpace Revival, there's been there a bunch of different Facebook groups where people are able to talk to that audience so specifically. Do you think that, surely that's had an impact on you, like with the way that you're able to target your audience so well?
Right. It's given bands that sound similar to mine or my project or whatever, like an audience, someone that we could actually target specifically rather than just throwing this out into like the metalcore blog, metalcore Facebook groups or whatever, because most of them probably don't give a shit about us. You know what I mean? Like we sound so much different from what, other bands would be sounding like us in the mathcore community sound so much different from what they would be used to. They wouldn't give a shit, or they wouldn't care. But I'm gonna try to censor myself. I'm used to cussing. I'm sorry.
Yeah, I was gonna say we have to play it on the radio. We have to be nice.
I gotcha.
We have to play nice.
It's okay though. I've let a couple slip on the radio on accident.
Yeah.
But the mathcore index community has been a huge source of support for this. Like I would not be doing this without them being here. And Christian, the guy that puts together Mathcore Index and stuff, he's amazing. He's done more for the community than I think he'll ever realize.
Yeah. I'm blanking, but does he have his own record label that's aside from Mathcore Index as well?
Yeah, he does Dark Show Records.
Okay,
he
that's
helped release my last album, actually, Memes, Dreams, and Flying Machines.
Nice.
Are they putting this one out?
No, this one's gonna be just me. I figured I'd give it a shot by myself to see what happens.
Nice. Yeah.
Lots of support on Bandcamp. It is really cool to see so many people, especially like in the past 5 years, who have become more and more interested and more involved. The community is so authentic and thriving now more than it has in the previous 5 years. So it is really cool to see so many people who support these artists like you. Why do you think this sort of music has come back in the way that it has? Why do you think that it died for a while and came back? And why does it feel so important to people like you and people like us now?
So when this was actually a thing back in the day, I never listened to it. I just saw like a bunch of people wearing their sisters' pants with like the carabiners and shit on and stuff on them, and I was like, I didn't want to be a part of that. You know what I mean? So I was real metal elitist back in like high school and stuff like that, and so I just wouldn't touch this stuff. But I ended up finding it like in 2015, something like that, and decided to get into it. Why it died out though, I have no idea, man. Like I guess actual metalcore kind of died out a little bit like towards the end of the 2010s, but yeah, I don't know why this did, because this is so like original, you know what I mean? Maybe it's just because people are like growing up and becoming adults, and now the kids that listen to it back in the day are like adults and have things somewhat together and can, support their own bands and stuff. So I guess that's why it's coming back. I'm really not sure.
Yeah, that, and like it almost feels like the younger brothers, the younger, but like so many people have a story where like someone got them into a band, like their older brother listened to some band back in the day, and they were a kid when their older brother listened to it, and they thought it was really cool when they were a kid, and now that they're adults and they have other people they can play music with, it's come back in like a big way.
Yeah, I can see that totally being a thing.
I wanted to ask too, I was watching one of your interviews earlier today, and you talked about, one of your biggest inspirations being Canada songs from Daughters.
Mm-hmm.
And I was curious because I grew up in a small town as well. Like, I think your Facebook says you grew up in Hewitt. Is that correct? Hewitt, Texas?
That's where I was born, and I've been living in Allen since kindergarten. So, 20 something years.
So how did you find that? Did you find that organically, or did you have a friend who was like, hey, check this out?
So the first mathcore band that I found was See You Next Tuesday, is because I was in like making black and death metal, and I realized how everything kind of sounded the same, and I was like, I wanted something original, something that was like I don't know, the way it felt back in the day, you know what I mean? Whenever you first listen to metal, I was looking for that. And I thought, what were those weird kids listening to in high school? You know what I mean? I was like, oh, See You Next Tuesday. That was one of them. And I was into Parasite, and I was hooked. And I was like, what's another one? Number 12 Looks Like You. And then Daughters, of course, Daughters. Let's go check out Daughters. And that's when I found Canada songs, and dude, freaking blew my mind. Like, oh my God, it's so good. And it's just, dude, you're probably talking about the interview where I interviewed Focusrite. One of those guys covered the entire album without like stopping on like Facebook. He's got a video where he just does a whole album on guitar.
Whoa.
And just watching him play, it gives you like, I don't know, it inspires me at least. Like, it shows me how they get that weird sound out of their guitars and stuff, and it makes me want to like copy what they were doing. So that helps me like up my game, you know what I mean? But yeah, that album has a lot of love coming from me.
That's crazy. I didn't realize there was like a full album cover of it, because that's one of those things where you like that genre of music, so you Google like, okay, Canada songs tabs, and it just like doesn't really exist. There's like very, very few videos on YouTube, and I know that Daughters has the Patreon now, but I don't think that they've uploaded tabs for every single song. So that's really cool.
Right. Look up the Guitar Janitor, Daughters Canada songs. He calls himself the Guitar Janitor. And dude, it's like a professionally shot video. It looks so freaking good. He's got both guitars going at the same time. Oh, it's so good. So good.
That's wild.
So when you discovered that you love the music, did you also try on a different pair of jeans? Did you try on some skinny jeans?
There was a moment in my life when I thought that maybe I could fit in the skinny jeans, and that moment ended so fast.
I see that you got the Kill Press shirt on. That's super cool.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
He's awesome, man. I'm actually going to be talking to him a couple days from now for the cast.
John is a super sweet person. We played the entire album on the radio last week.
Oh, yeah, I saw him like promoting that. I wasn't sure how you pronounce his name, so it is John then. Okay.
Yeah, I felt the same way. I was like, we've talked on Facebook kind of extensively, but I know his first name's John, but I didn't think to ask, how do you pronounce your actual last name? I felt bad for never asking about it.
There's a lot of apostrophes in there. Yeah, it's hard to
tell. He's beautiful. A beautiful man with a beautiful name.
Yeah.
Talking about living in Allen, so we live in Knoxville, Tennessee, which I want to say probably has like a sort of similar size of population.
I'm sure Knoxville is way bigger than where I'm at.
Maybe.
Probably, yeah.
Yeah, probably, yeah. I looked up the population. It said it was like 100,000. Maybe I'm
more than that.
Yeah, I'm severely undermining the population of Knoxville. But now that the Sound That Ends creation has like got a bunch of supporters, and there are people who know the name like off the top of their head. Have you ever thought of potentially trying to actually do anything with like a live setting? I know that in one of your interviews you've talked about trying to do the solo thing, but have you ever thought about trying to pull like an Omar from Mars Volta and just be like, this is the music and you guys play it so that you can play with the band? Has that ever crossed your mind?
Yeah. The thing is, I don't know if I trust other people that much. You know what I mean? Like the whole reason I'm a one-man band is because I can't find people that be on like the same page or whatever. And I don't know, like every time I try to get together a band, there's always been like people that flake or aren't really serious about it and stuff. Maybe now that like I have a little bit of a name behind it, I could maybe hire some people to like join me on the road or something. But
Yeah.
I don't know. I kind of want to try it by myself first and see what happens.
What are your plans for the solo shows? Like, what would you do?
So I was thinking, obviously, have a completely wireless setup, like obviously like the wireless guitar thing, but wireless like headset thing too. I don't know if it could work or not, but it'd be cool to have like a little headset thing that I could wear to do vocals, so I could run around the stage. You know what I mean? Like pop stars do, I guess.
Yeah.
And get like a little projector to project like memes or something behind me. I'm not sure what it'd be exactly, but
I just got a projector for super cheap, so it's doable.
oh, there we go. Yeah, that'd be awesome, I think. Maybe like some kind of like strobing lights or something, but definitely a projector. It needs something else besides just me being up there, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
So you'd be doing guitar and vocals?
Yeah.
That would be insane. That would just be absolutely insane. I feel like that would fit your music so well because it's so, especially like the singles off the new record, and I mean all of your entire catalog, but it's just like, it's like getting hit by a car and then you get like stuck in the tire, like stuck in the wheel. It's so hard to process.
awesome.
Like on your first listen, it's like there's no way to possibly like interpret everything that's happening on the first listen. It's so dense.
I saw someone describe it as a Looney Tunes style Gatling gun.
Yeah, it's awesome, man. I appreciate y'all saying that. And that was the goal. It's to make people like confused and like happy at the same time.
Yeah.
So have like a stupid shit-eating grin on your face while you're like listening to it the whole time. That's the idea.
Yeah. Do you think that the environment that you're in, do you feel like that has inspired some of the lyrics? Because I feel like the lyrics are, you've had the same sort of lyrical style and it's progressed and been tweaked and gotten better with each album, like more concise. But do you think that, living in a sort of small town and living where you live, like in Texas, has that affected your own like way of writing lyrics and your own like lyrical perspective, the message that you wish to send?
I wouldn't say like living here is like living in this town has like really affected it or whatever. It's more living in this country. Reading like the lyrics from this album, I'm sure you could tell it's way more political. So whenever like lockdown happened, I ended up watching a bunch of like political commentary and stuff, and like just kind of like fed up with how shit is or with how stuff is right now. And it's just like trying to take like the terrible parts of like the world and make it like kind of funny but messed up at the same time, like dark humor kind of thing.
Yeah. Do you have friends in town who you show your music to?
Nah, man, I don't have friends. I really don't get out too much, honestly.
Well, I was curious, like again, I'm trying to think. It actually may have been when Metal Trenches was interviewing you, and you talked about how sometimes when you were at work, you just pull up voice memo on your phone and you'd like mouth out the riff that you have in your mind, and if other people would see it. And I was wondering if anyone like at work had ever talked to you, but I guess if you're working by yourself, no one's like.
Well, when I had that terrible job, I would be around other people and stuff, and people did see me on the phone, and I'd have to like explain myself, making weird noises and stuff. But I mean, I've shown it to other people, and I've made a post on Facebook once about what they said, but I forgot what it was now. But like everybody's first reaction is always like, I have no idea how to like quantify what I just listened to. You know what I mean? So,
Yeah.
Yeah.
It was 3 albums ago when you started including the piano, right? And then this last album is with the first time the brass section came in.
Yeah, so I messed around with the piano the first time on Roses and Thorns and Dead Unicorns. And then really started to try to incorporate it on music design. And yeah, in memes I had the trumpets and like sax and stuff like that in there.
Are you programming? Are you programming that through like MIDI, or are you like playing a keyboard?
Yeah, it's all just programmed with MIDI. I have no idea how to play a keyboard. I really need to figure it out. But yeah, like the way that I get it kind of plotted, because I don't know like how to translate from the guitar to like a piano. You know what I mean? So the way that I get it like kind of plotted out is I'll record the bass and then run the bass through this plugin that can change the bass notes into MIDI notes. But it looks like this scattered like I don't know, like a bunch of scattered notes. It doesn't look super cohesive, but you can kind of figure out where the notes are supposed to be. You know what I mean? So I take like that chaotic looking thing and then try to make it sound musical instead of just a bunch of random notes.
Nice.
So yeah, that's how I get like this close enough to the right notes.
Yeah, because the piano tracks are always like super intense, maybe even like the craziest part of the song usually. So like, are you like some sort of piano mastermind?
No. Yeah, I just try to make it as crazy as possible, man. I don't know.
What do you think is besides just some additional instruments, what do you think has changed with recording this album that's coming out and the last one that you recorded?
So the last one, I had all like the different instruments and stuff, but they were all kind of following together. Yeah, like they all did pretty much the same thing. This time around though, I was really trying to make each instrument be doing something different at every part of like a song. Sometimes they come back and do similar things, but yeah, I was really focused on instrument separation this time around. Make it more chaotic and sound more full also.
Yeah, I've listened through it a couple times now, and the compositions are so dense, and it does sound, not that Memes, Dreams, and Flying Machines wasn't the shit, but this one I can tell that like you've really expanded on what you're doing in that area. It's very cool.
Oh, thanks, man. I really appreciate it.
What do you see happening in the future? What do you like? Do you have any, conceptual ideas that what do you want to expand upon in the future? What's the future of the Sound That Ends creation?
You mean like album wise?
Like musical like ideas that you explore. I mean, are we ever going to get, like, maybe this is sort of another sort of compounded question, but whenever I listen to the singles off this new record, one of the questions that comes to mind is just like, how does Chris find peace? Like the music is so chaotic and not peaceful. It's like, how does he find peace? And would you ever explore peaceful music?
Oh, like more chilled out stuff?
Yeah.
I kind of think that I need to, that like on, so the big feedback I got a lot was that this was too intense sometimes, and then it made it, the more intense parts seem less intense because it's all intense. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
So like I needed more of like a contrast between like the chilled out parts and the crazy parts, and that's just kind of hard for me. So
Sure.
I need to focus more on doing that kind of stuff. As far as ideas for like the future, I want to make something that's like, how do you describe it? Sound more like a jazz band, I guess. Maybe like a little less bassy or something. I'm not sure how to do it, but like, yeah, more like a jazz band. I don't know. It's hard to describe what I'm thinking of in my head. I also want to try to do some stuff with like weird electronics and things like that. I don't know if you heard, I interviewed this band a while back, so maybe you've heard of them. I'm not sure. Have you heard of Hiraki?
I haven't.
No, not off the top of my head.
They're a sick hardcore band from Denmark. They do a lot of like more industrial kind of sounds, but it's not like specifically electronic. It's hard to describe,
Sure.
but you should look them up. It's kind of like the direction I'd like to go, but then I also want to try to make something that's more jazz related. So I don't know, man. It's all kind of up in the air.
Yeah.
And so much music. I mean, like we were saying, it's been an album a year. I mean, that's a crazy pace to put up with, like and try and deal with in the first place. So I feel like that progression it will be so interesting to see you get to that point with each release. Because
Absolutely, man. I've seen bands that are like throwing stuff out so much, like Fawn Limbs. I think they did like, what was it? It's like 2 albums and EP and something. Didn't they do like maybe a 2 EP, something like that, over the past 2 years? Like, some of these bands are crazy, man. They put out all sorts of stuff.
They just put out some sort of like cowboy story album.
Oh yeah, it's so good. It's so good. I can't think of the name of it off the top of my head, but yeah, dude. It's Darwin Falls. There we go.
Yeah.
Yeah, those guys are so freaking good.
I wanted to ask, I wasn't able to find it. So again, in that sort of trying to stalk you a little bit, so you do have a Metal Archives page. Are you aware of that?
Yeah.
Okay. So the only other things that I could find, and you've mentioned it in other interviews, is so the only past bands that I could find were Surgically Impaled, but I couldn't find it on YouTube. And then Giant of the Mountain. So I wanted to hear something about Surgically Impaled, and if you'd ever make a comeback from it, because I mean you live in Texas, and I feel like Texas, at least more so than Tennessee, there is like a brutal scene devourment from there, so people like care about it a little bit more. I
haven't been involved in the local scene in a while, but whenever I was, it was all like brutal death metal or like Pantera cover bands. And so yeah, there's a big scene down here. So I never uploaded it to YouTube, the Surgically Impaled thing, and it only lasted like a couple of months, probably something like that, and then I just stopped doing it. And it's not up there because it sucks. It absolutely sucks. So yeah, like
that's awesome.
Like you've heard my first album, I'm sure at least a little bit. It sounds like garbage. Like my first album, The Sound That Ends Creation. So imagine like this Surgically Impaled sounding way worse than that. You know what I mean? Like, because I had no idea what I was doing with recording and such. So yeah, I'm kind of glad it's not up there. Giant of the Mountain is a band that existed before I got into it. I just joined like as bassist, and we put out an EP and a full length while I was in the band, and I was in there for like a year. We went on like a little tour on the West Coast, and then I left, just like personal differences, and yeah, they're still continuing on though. You still find music from them.
I was gonna say, are you still friends with those people? I think they actually put out an album like 3 days ago.
Right. Yeah. I don't talk to them too much, but we're on good terms.
Okay.
Are they a doom band?
Well, whenever I was in it, it was black and death metal. I think they're more black metal now. I'm not completely sure.
I feel like just off the top of my head, I feel like I already know the answer to this question. It's almost like it's just a quick fire question, but what's your favorite holiday? I already know the answer.
Holiday.
I feel like I have to know the answer.
Take a guess. What do you think it is?
It's got to be Christmas. What do you mean?
Dude, holy crap, I was going to say that. Yes. Dude, correct.
Like
I did the EP and stuff.
Yeah. Yeah, you've got Christmas lights in your room. You've got the Christmas EP. You've got the Christmas related shirt. I was curious, what compelled you to actually make the covers of the Christmas songs? Because it's so funny.
Well, my mom's like super into Christmas. Like it's ridiculous. Actually, behind all my streaming stuff, there's like boxes full of Christmas decorations. She's got a closet just full of Christmas decorations, like literally just dedicated to Christmas decorations. And we've got some out in the garage too. She's like insane with like Christmas decorations, and so it's been like huge for her. And so that's rubbed off on me. And it's like I don't know, man. Just like making jokes and stuff about like this really commercialized holiday. You know what I mean? So yeah. And I mean that what was it? What's that one? Home Alone. The quotes are so freaking good. What was it? I'll give you to the count of 10 to get your ugly keister off my property. Like, oh, it's so good. It's so good. I always wanted to put that in something, and There we go. It worked.
Was that your favorite Christmas movie? That was my follow-up question.
No, It's a Wonderful Life. Straight up. That's one of the best movies of all time, not just Christmas movies. And I Will Die on This Hill.
Yeah, it's it is just so funny. Like there is for as chaotic and as dense and just continually in your face as the music is, there's such a diversity with each new release. I'm curious about sort of what are like some bands that are right now inspiring you, things that are, you know, this year, like releases that have inspired you this year, if there are any releases that you're excited for that are coming out, you know, maybe later this year or even next year. You talk about you're super involved with the community itself, and I was curious who's been like making you excited this year.
So let me pull up some stuff real quick. I know off the top of my head, Death Goals put out that sick album, and that's the kind of stuff that makes me want to start writing again. Like they killed it. They killed it so hard, and like I don't know, man. That one's amazing. I need to see.
I think we
more
actually
live
played one of
music.
those songs on the radio not long ago.
Oh, dude, they're so good, man. They're so good. Like just listening to it, that's the kind of stuff that I want to be writing. You know what I mean? Let me see here. That Pac-Man the movie put out that sick album. Dude, those guys are absolutely killing it. I love seeing like the sassy kind of music, you know, coming up. You don't see a lot of that. Like with mathcore, it's either like super hard, like, you know, really metalcore driven mathcore stuff, or like just weird, like dark, what do you call what's that band? Frontier-esque kind of stuff.
Yeah,
You don't really see the sassy stuff too much anymore.
Yeah.
Let me see what else we got here. Stuff that like inspires me. This band Caraneer. You heard of them?
I have, yeah. The like chiptune like metal band.
Yeah, chiptune black metal. Like what the heck is that, right? And they had like an awesome storyline with their album too. I've always wanted to do a storyline, but I'm not good at writing storylines, so that hasn't happened. But at some point, I would love to, and I love the way that they did it. Their whole concept's just amazing.
You love Lefty Fish.
Oh yeah, so I was gonna bring them up, even though that album's like what from 2018, something like that. Yeah, they're amazing, man. Like they're the whole reason why I'm doing this stuff the way I am. Yeah, I wanted them to put something out. We haven't heard anything from them in like forever. You know what I mean? I guess they're like, I don't know if they're from Indonesia or something like that, but it's not like first world country or whatever. So I can understand there might be some kind of like issues with that. But yeah, I want to hear more from them 100%. Wax People's another band that's like coming up with like the saxophone and stuff like that. Those guys are sick.
Yeah.
Love to hear some stuff from them.
Been meaning, do you listen to Imperial Triumphant? They're another band that incorporates a lot of jazz elements, but in a way different way.
I've never listened to them. So they do incorporate like jazz and stuff like that. I always thought they were just more of a black and death metal band.
No, they're like super weird.
Yeah.
They're incredible.
Yeah, I was actually going to say that earlier too. It's like I was curious if you were going to pull some stuff from that sort of genre, because like there are musical trends that are kind of booming right now, and the sort of like mathcore sort of MySpacey revival. I mean, even with, you know, like bands like an Albatross putting out something that's new, like that was like a big deal. And I hear that in your stuff, it has that weird talk show quality. But another like musical trend that's really big right now is just extremely ugly, extremely dissonant black metal, and Imperial Triumphant is one of the people sort of leading that sort of trend right now.
Yeah, like a very dissonant kind of stuff.
Yeah.
It's a big like death metal thing going on too, like disso death, I guess is what they call it.
Yeah.
But, yeah, I haven't been too much into that stuff. Something I need to dive into more, you know what I mean?
Yeah, and I feel like it sort of segues into another question. Is like, what do you listen to stuff that's that's not metal? You know, what do you listen to? Like, what do you listen to on a normal basis? If you're like, I'm kind of sick of, you know, or maybe not sick, but just I've listened to so much metal. Whenever you feel like you're in that position, what do you listen to?
So I got 4 answers. I know it's a lot, but
That's awesome.
so whenever I was writing this album, the whole basis around it was that I wanted to get that jazzy tune, right? Like make it feel like jazz music. You know what I mean? The last one like incorporates, horns and stuff, but it doesn't feel like jazz, if that makes sense. So this time I took a jazz record and sped it up twice the speed and tried to take what I heard from that and turn it into like a grindcore song.
Sure.
And so that was the basis of every single song. And so yeah, like that jazz album's awesome. The band's called Hot Swing Sextet, I think was their name. They put out an album last year. Absolutely amazing. It's so good. It's straight up swing music. I don't know if you're into that kind of thing, but yeah, so I did that. And I'm also like huge into oldies. That's what I like grew up on. So all the oldies stuff. Can't think of anything off the top of my head. I like Elvis, things like that. It's awesome.
Okay.
But yeah, so I'm also a huge Beatles fan, as you can see.
There you go.
Yeah, all their stuff's great, especially from Revolver forward. It's all amazing. Also a big Beach Boys fan. And yeah, so like oldies is awesome. As far as like more like modern kind of stuff goes, there's this band called The Gathering. Have you heard of them?
I have not.
I haven't.
Okay, well, they started out as a doom death metal band, but then they became an indie band, which is a weird transition. But all of their indie stuff is so good. It's so good. It's like 7 albums I think they did like that, and every one of them absolute banger. And yeah, that's one of the ones that I go back to all the time.
The Gathering, you said. I'll check that out.
Oh, you should. You should. Oh my God, they're so good. So good.
I was is there anything that you want to plug, anything that you want to plug specifically, like beyond, the Cast That Ends creation, beyond the album? Is there anything additionally that you want the people to know about, to keep an eye
on? Not really, man. Just go pre-order the album if you're into it. Check out the Cast That Ends creation. Yeah,
that podcast is awesome. Whoever's listening should definitely check out the Cast That Ends creation if you like our show, because he talks to a ton of bands that we play on the radio all the time.
Yeah,
I appreciate that, man. Yeah, I try. You know what I mean? Yeah, I think I've gotten better at it.
We're actually playing with Noel later this week. I just listened to your episode with Noel. It was super fun.
That's so sick. That's so sick.
Yeah, and then we play with the Calistal Boys.
Yeah,
later this year. Yeah.
Wait, what's your band called?
We're called Rat Punch.
Rat Punch. Okay. Okay. You gotta link me sometime so I can check that out.
Yeah, I'll send you a link to our album once we hang up the call if you want. But
okay, that sounds good.
Cool. But you said November 5th is when the album's coming out for you?
Yep, November 5th.
Where do you pre-order it at?
The soundthatenscreation.bandcamp.com.
Okay, Bandcamp. Gotcha. And I know there's vinyl. Is there like t-shirts, CDs?
Yeah, we got 2 different shirt designs. One of them is like a sandwich with Scrooge McDuck in there. It says "Eat the Rich." It's pretty awesome. I love that. Another one is so I have a song called "What's the Difference Between a Politician and a Flying Pig?" Do you guys know the difference?
A pig can fly.
And a flying pig. The difference is actually the F, because a politician is a lying pig.
Okay.
Okay. So I have a picture of Donald Trump as a flying pig, and on the back it says "Only care about their donors, their brokers, their owners, not voters," which is a line.
Oh yeah, I did see that one.
Yeah.
Oh yeah. Got shirts, 3 different kinds of vinyl, and got CDs.
Nice. And what's the next episode of the cast?
Next one, gonna be talking to John from Killpress.
Oh, right. Okay, yeah.
Oh my gosh, I'm excited for that. He is just such a sweet person. He's such a sweet person.
Oh yeah, he's been involved with the community for a while. I'm pretty sure. Like I remember seeing his name back whenever I first started out.
Yeah.
All right, Chris. Well, thanks for your time, man. And we'll definitely be keeping an eye out for any other singles. Are there any more coming before the album?
Yeah, there's gonna be one more. Got a guest on there. I think it's been like talked about already. I kind of wanted to be a surprise whenever it comes out. But yeah, I got a sweet guest on there. It should be like the first Friday of next month, which would be the 8th of October. There should be another one. Or maybe it's I guess it's the first.
I know
Okay,
which
probably
one
the first.
it is. I was trying to say because I didn't want to spoil it, but it is a cool feature.
Yeah.
Yeah, dude. It's awesome. That guy's awesome.
You've had 2 very cool features already come out too.
Yeah.
Oh yeah. I guess plug them real quick. Got Cameron from Methwitch on there, and just had Kate Davies from Pupil Slicer on there. Like, it's pretty awesome. I'm pretty happy with that. Let's
Both
get it really well.
are awesome, and Cameron's vocals are nuts. How does he get that sound?
Dude, right?
He's a scary person.
Yeah.
He's like
There's
this.
only like a few vocalists I've ever heard that can hit that screech, and like, I just don't get it, man. I've tried. It just does not work.
It's tough. I can't do it.
Yeah, well, we're definitely gonna play the singles on the radio, and I feel like we're gonna try and curate a sort of mathcore adjacent, something that Chris Deering would appreciate, sort of playlist for the night. And yeah, we're super excited. Thank you for talking to us. It's just been very fun.
Yeah.
Well, thank you so much for having me. You guys are awesome.
That's very
Thanks,
sweet.
Chris.
All right, thanks so much.
Yeah, you have a good night.
Thank you.